occasion. It is the appearance day of Lord Balarama, the elder brother of Lord Krishna, and this is called Poornima festival. So we are very, very fortunate, blessed, and grateful to His Grace Sridama Prabhu, who is going to give a very nice Katha on Lord Balaram and tell us about Lord Balaram, his stories, his appearance, his pastimes, and his glories. So we are very, very grateful to you, Prabhuji, for blessing us with Balaram Katha. So let's welcome Prabhuji and everyone by 3 times chanting Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
So over to you, Prabhuji. Please enlighten us.
Sure. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa, devotees. As Shubhalas Prabhuji mentioned, it's a very auspicious moment, auspicious day. So we'll begin the Balaram Jayanti Katha with a brief invocation. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nananjana Shalakaya Shakshurun Militamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Śrī Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sampadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So devotees, we can begin with a brief verse from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Let me see if I can share my screen. So this is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse number is 23. If one of us can read this. Vipul Prabhu.
Shri Prabhuji, Dhamma Pranam, all Krishna Shri Prabhupada. Eko navinshe vinshanti me Vrishnishu prapo janmani Ramo Krishnau iti bhuvo Bhagavan arat bharam. Translation by His Divine Grace, this is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Joy. In the 19th and 20th incarnations, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balarama and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, the Jodu dynasty, and by so doing, he removed the burden of the world. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Would someone else like to read the purport?
I can read, Prabhuji. The specific mention of the word Bhagavan in this text indicates that Balaram and Krishna are the original forms of the Lord. This will be further explained later. Lord Krishna is not an incarnation of the Purusha, as we learned from the beginning of this chapter. He is directly the original personality of Godhead, and Balaram is the first plenary manifestation of the Lord. From Baladev, the first phalanx of plenary expansions, Vasudev, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna expand. Lord Shri Krishna is Vasudev and Baladev is Sankarshana. Hari Bol.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhu. So the verse itself is kind of self-explanatory. But in my humble thinking, first of all, I do not qualify to speak or glorify Lord Balarama in no way. But what I can do is share whatever little I know and my experience listening to senior devotees, Guru Maharaj, and so on. So in my thinking, and of course, a big Haribol and all obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, without his mercy, there is no way that we, right now sitting in Tampa, and talking about Lord Balarama. Because if you ask any common man, they have very little knowledge about Lord Balarama. Even in India, in a country like India, even people who have read different scriptures and Vedas and so on, they don't have a good understanding of who is Lord Balarama. Many people would think that Lord Balarama is just an elder brother. He came as an elder brother just for Mahabharata episode. But there is more to that. We are so fortunate, again, with the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are able to understand a little more about who is Krishna, who is Lord Balarama. So today is a very auspicious day. Let's see if I can share my PowerPoint. So today, obviously, it's Lord Balarama's appearance day, Balaram Jayanti, Balaram Poornima. Obviously, it is a Poornima, that's why it's auspicious. And then in India, we also celebrate what is called Raksha Bandhan. There is also a nice background of Raksha Bandhan in Mahabharata. It's Raksha Bandhan is tied by a sister to the brother's hand. And there is a brief episode in Mahabharata where Draupadi, Krishna gets injured in one of the, Krishna never gets injured, but it's all the pastime and lila. So Draupadi, she helps her with her cloth to tie Krishna's finger. And Krishna compensates that when Draupadi was dishonored and she was about to be destroyed, Krishna compensated, delivered her with unlimited supply of saris. So that is a nice pastime. And then in many parts of the world, and especially in southern part of India, today is what is called an yagnopavitam. Either an eligible boy at the right age, 6, 7, 8, they take the sacred thread, or the adults who have already have the sacred thread, they change it. It's an annual event, and the thread is changed every year. So this is Lord Balarama, very powerful. We'll talk about a little bit about his weapon, the plow. So the question is, this has been asked by many times by many devotees. Who is Lord Balarama? Balarama has got all the opulences as Krishna. Krishna has 6 opulences. Of course, all the opulences, mainly 6. And Balarama also has got 6 opulences. Krishna has got 64 qualities. Balarama has got 64 qualities. Krishna has got his rasa pastime. Balarama has got his own rasa pastime. Krishna has many names. Balarama has got many, many names. So one time, very dear disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Yamuna Devi Dasi and Madhu Divas Prabhuji, they were discussing about Lord Balarama. And Yamuna Dasi said that Lord Balarama and Krishna are 2 different personalities. Why? Because Lord Balarama does not really enjoy the Madhurya Rasa, like with the Srimati Radharani and the other gopis. That was her kind of an understanding. So Madhu Divas Prabhu said that, no, Lord Krishna and Balarama are one and the same. The only difference, if at all, is just the color. Obviously, we know Krishna is Shama Sundara, a dark bluish, and Lord Balarama is completely milky white. So they go to Srila Prabhupada. So Yamuna Dasi says, Srila Prabhupada, I think Krishna and Lord Balarama, they are both different personalities. So Srila Prabhupada says, you are correct. I think you are correct. So Madhu Divas Prabhuji says, but Srila Prabhupada, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, they all say Krishna and Balarama are one and the same. There is no difference at all. So Srila Prabhupada says, you are also correct. Then at that time, Tamal Krishna Maharaj is standing there. Then he asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, how can both be correct? So Srila Prabhupada says, you are also correct. Which means that with Krishna, everything is correct, everything is possible, because it's a contradiction that we may not understand. Krishna is bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest. So this contradiction, because we are in the material world, we don't know anything like that. Either we know something as small or we know something as big. So that is what is Krishna and Lord Balarama. As we read in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, they are one and the same, but yet there is some small difference. We'll see what is that one. So here, this chart, Krishna as the Swayam Rupa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his form is Shyama Sundara. And then, how many incarnations? Acharyas have said that infinite. It's almost impossible anybody to even count. It's like the waves in the ocean. Nobody can even keep track of it. But his expansions, we have some idea how we expand. So one is this Prabhava Prakasa. That means Krishna expands just as Krishna himself. Everything is the same. No change at all, but it's multiple Krishna. So a couple of examples for those would be, unless Bipul Prabhu want to give us an example about, you want to give an example, Prabhu, how Krishna expands just as himself, no difference at all.
So in the Ras Leela,
very good, yeah.
Dwaraka.
Yes, Prabhu, that's correct. In Rasa Leela, Krishna expands to multiple Krishnas. So each gopis, they are thinking that Krishna is exclusively doing the Rasa Leela with them. The main thing here is exclusive. It's not that we may be in a group of 50 people, everybody think we are there, but being with so many different personalities at the same time and exclusively, that is very important. Krishna can do it, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the next example would be, then he expands into multiple Krishna in his Dwaraka with all the queens, 16,108 queens. He would expand, and each queen would think, wow, Krishna is spending all the time with them. So that is called Prakasha Vaibhava. Now, Prabhava Prakasha. Then there is another expansion, which is Vaibhava Prakasha. I apologize, this is little small. You may not be able to read all the text here. The Vaibhava Prakasha is something, it is Krishna. All the qualities, everything is same, except there is some difference in the appearance. For example, here in Lord Balarama, just now we discussed, is milky white, Krishna is dark bluish, and in the mood is different. Krishna comes as the enjoyer. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So Krishna is the enjoyer of everything. So if Krishna is going to enjoy, then how would we serve him? He is the Supreme Personality. How can we serve him so that we can enjoy? So that is where Lord Balarama's position, he comes as servitor Godhead. The same Krishna, one is to enjoy, and Lord Balarama facilitates how to serve Krishna. So as we see, Lord Balarama is eternally serving Krishna. We would see in the other subsequent slides how intimate Lord Balarama is serving Krishna. And devotees, some of us may have some experience serving senior devotees and Guru Maharaj, sannyasis, and so on. Believe me, it's a very challenging task because they are, spiritually so elevated, so strong. They can perform a particular task for several hours without being tired. To give a brief example, my Guru Maharaj, when he used to write books, used to give dictation for like 3-4 hours, and devotees used to get so tired. And here we are talking about serving Krishna eternally. Only Lord Balaram can do that, and Lord Balaram can facilitate devotees to do that also. So that is why he is called the Adi Guru. So another chart that shows how Krishna's first expansion is Balaram, then Balaram expands to Aniruddha, Vasudev, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and so on. And then again how Lord Balaram expands to Mahasankarshan and then to Mahavishnu and so on. So to answer, Krishna and Balaram are one and the same. There is no difference at all. The mood is different. For devotees, Lord Balaram represents the Guru Tattva, the highest spiritual knowledge and position a Guru can give. So Srila Prabhupada always used to say, without seeking the blessing of Lord Balaram, there is no way we can really get the blessings of Krishna. One time, this is a very nice picture of Krishna Balaram. One time, devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, who is stronger, Krishna or Balaram? And Srila Prabhupada's answer was Balaram. Krishna. Do we know why? Any thoughts, Vaishnava? Why Krishna is stronger than Balaram?
Because Balaram is leaning on Krishna.
Can you say that again, Mataji?
Because Balaram is leaning on to Krishna.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So Srila Prabhupada gave this, it's a humorous explanation. Normally, you lean on somebody who's more powerful than you, stronger than you. So here we see Lord Balaram is leaning on Krishna. So Balaram, the name itself means, Bala means strength, Rama means happiness. So here we are not really talking about a material strength. We are not talking about wrestling or boxing that we see in the material world. People become Mr. Universe and they are the strongest man or the strongest woman. No, this is the highest spiritual strength that will lead us to the highest happiness, which is the devotional service. So Lord Balaram is eternally serving Krishna. As we can see here, Balaram is serving Krishna as a bed. What an auspicious seva. Can anybody think of becoming a bed, a blanket for Krishna? But that is what he does. And it is said that here, Lord Balarama as Ananta Sesha, he has got 1,000 hoods. And all the time he is doing two things. He is always keeping protected, always trying to protect Krishna with his 1,000 hoods, and always glorifying Krishna. But it is Acharyas are saying that even with 1,000 hoods, his glorification is infinite. So that is going on eternally. Then in Treta Yuga, actually these are all spiritual pastimes. These are all beyond our material timeline. These are all happening eternally. It's not that only in Satya Yuga, Lord Balaram serves Krishna and then he comes as Lakshmana in Treta Yuga. No, it is happening all the time. Like Srila Prabhupada used to say, Krishna, if we cannot see, it's like the sun. Sun, sometimes we are able to see, sometimes we cannot see. That doesn't mean the sun doesn't exist all the time. So Krishna exists all the time. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. People who can understand his appearance. It is not, Janma should not be taken as birthday. That is why we normally refer all this as appearance day rather than birthday. appearances and disappearances. So in the Treta Yuga, Lord Balaram comes as Lakshmana, the dear most brother of Lord Ramchandra. We all know how Lakshmana served Lord Ramchandra. In the entire Ramayana, Lakshmana is the only personality who was with Lord Ramchandra all the time, from day one until the end of the pastime. Lord Hanuman came later, obviously Mother Sita came later, but Lakshmana was with Lord Ramchandra all the time. Valmiki refers to Lakshmana as Lakshmano Lakshmi Sampanno, meaning Lakshmana is saying, Valmiki, Lakshmana is the wealthiest personality. And the question is that why is the wealthiest? He has never been a king. He never had any kingdom of his own. He always was serving Lord Ramchandra. But he is considered wealthiest because he always served the Supreme Lord. That is the best wealth, that is the best position anyone can achieve. And Lakshmana, it is said that during this entire Vanavas time, the 14 years, he never slept. He didn't even blink his eyes for a second. He had a special deal with Nidra Devi that he wants to protect and serve Lord Ramchandra. So next is, now we are into Dwapara Yuga, where Krishna appears as himself and Lord Balarama also appears as himself. Srila Prabhupada always used to emphasize that there may be so many incarnations, so many avatars, but Krishna is the source. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says, Etesya amsa kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Meaning all this incarnation, including Lord Balaram, Krishna is the source. So we should be very, quite understanding of who is Krishna. Krishna is the source, he is the Sarva Karana Karanam, and everything comes out of him. So there are many pastime, the great brothers, Krishna and Balaram, they did in Vrindavana, Mathura, it also continued in Dwaraka. We'll discuss a little bit in the next few slides. And then in Kali Yuga, the same Krishna and Balaram, they come as Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu and Lord Nityaṁ Prabhu. So again, I just put some yugas here, but I don't think it's very relevant because these are all happening eternally. And of course, Lord Balaram, another special form is Baladev, as in Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath, Lord Baladev, and Lord Subhadra. It's also eternal pastime. Many of us might have visited the Jagannath Puri temple. Wonderful deities. We ourselves in Tampa, we had 2-3 Ratha Yatra. So again, this is Lord Balaram, and we see that he's carrying a little unique kind of a weapon. It's a plow. And what is the purpose of this plow? So Acharya says this is not a plow for fighting or for any other material purpose. This plow is to cleanse all the anarthas that we might have. What are the anarthas we have? We may have so many, unlimited, but at least the main one, the lust, and then the greed, then anger, and pride, envy, and ignorance. So, throughout Krishna's pastime, at least in the Vrindavan and Mathura, Krishna and Balaram face so many demons, almost on a daily basis. Demons used to come, appear, and the only purpose is that they want to kill either Krishna or Balaram. So again, Acharyas have said that all these demons represent some kind of an anartha. Either it could be lust, one of the demons could be anger, something could be ignorance, and so on. And Lord Balaram, he kind of serves Krishna in all the rasas. There are so many rasas, mainly the 5 rasas, the Santa rasa, which is reverence. So Lord Balarama in this Santa rasa, he becomes everything for Krishna. Like he becomes the land of Vrindavan. So one Acharya is saying that when Krishna ate mud and Mother Yashoda asked, why did you eat mud? He says that that mud is also a mother. Like there are 7 mothers. The land, earth is also a mother. And his another purpose of doing that is to kind of acknowledge Lord Balarama, because he is the Braj Mandala. He is the land of Braj. And he becomes Krishna's, all about Krishna's personal possession. His peacock, his necklace, his pitambar, everything. And then as a Dasya, he's a brother. He's called the Dao. In the Dasya mood, actually the Dasya, the Sakya, and the Vatsalya, they are all kind of interrelated. So Lord Balaram, he kind of, from day one, he has been a great brother, a friend. In Hindi, Dao means elder brother. And friendship used to play so much. Krishna and Lord Balarama used to play all the time different kinds of, wrestling, sports. On the Vatsalya, he always wanted to protect Krishna, because he knew that the demons are after Krishna. So he always used to say, hey, even when the Kaliya Leela Krishna was about to perform, he said that don't go out anywhere. It is dangerous out there, and please be inside the home. The reason he was saying was that he was showing his Vatsalya rasa towards Krishna. Now, in the Dasya, we saw that how Lakshmana did kind of an eternal seva to Lord Ramchandra. Does anybody know there was an instant where Lakshmana refused a kind of an instruction from Lord Ramchandra? Anybody, any thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So one time I think he asked Lakshmana to send Sita Devi. Initially he refused, but again, and also one more thing I heard, Prabhuji, when Shabari Mata gave fruits, I think Rama took it, but Lakshmana at that time did not. I may be wrong, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhu, you are right. You can never be wrong. So that's correct. Lakshmana, one time when after all the Vanavas and after getting back to Ayodhya and Pattabhishekam and so on, because of the fisherman's statement about Mother Sita, Lord Ramchandra decided that he will send her to the ashram. At that time, Lakshmana refused her. But Acharyas again are saying here that at that time, Lakshmana kind of decides that from now onwards, I'm going to be elder to Krishna in my appearance, so that he can take that position of an elderly brother and kind of guide and instruct Krishna. That is why we see that after Ramayana, Lord Balaram appears first as Lord Balaram in Dwapara, and Lord Nityananda in the Kali Yuga. So in the Madhurya, he enacts as Ananga Manjari, very, very intimate Manjaris. She is the youngest sister of Srimati Radharani, and only few Manjaris were allowed even with the Madhurya Rasa between Srimati Radharani and Krishna, and Ananga Manjari was one of them. So we'll see a couple of pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. Krishna and Balaram combined, they killed so many demons, countless. we'll maybe talk about a couple of them. The first one is Denuclear. So Denuclear was a donkey demon, and this donkey demon had occupied an entire kind of a space called Talavam. Talam means, I believe it is the palm fruit. You can correct me. You can go. Palm fruit. So Krishna and Balaram's friends, all the his childhood friends, when they used to go out for playing, they used to say, "Oh Krishna, Balaram, we have heard that there are very nice fruits available in this forest, but we cannot go inside. That's because there is a demon there." So Balaram naturally asked, "Hey, we'll go. Let's see who is the demon. We can fight with any demon." So they go there, and Lord Balaram starts shaking the palm trees, and that creates so much noise. And this demon, donkey demon, it gets a little bit agitated. Then there is a fight. As we can see, Lord Balaram is just pulling the legs and is swirling around Denuclear, and he kills the demon Denuclear. So Denuclear actually represents the ignorance of the spiritual knowledge. It's a material intelligence, and the donkey, as we know, it's a very lethargic, and it uses less of its brain. What is the problem here? Donkey, all it needs is a little bit of grass. It can always eat, but the donkey thinks that only if it works all day, and if it can overload itself with all the weight, the master will give the donkey some food and it can survive. And how true it is with our material world, right? We all overburdened. We think that only if I can work 20 hours a day, I can be successful, or I can be recognized in the society, and so on. Actually, Srila Prabhupada used to say that we are like donkeys, because we have overburdened. Denuclear represents ignorance as well as overburdening with material activities. So the next demon is Pralambasura. So Pralambasura is another demon. After so many demons try to attack Krishna, Pralambasura goes to Kamsa and says, "Okay, let me try. This time what I'm going to do is that I'm not going to attack Krishna. He's too powerful. Let me try it, see if I can kill Balaram. And then once if I can kill Balaram, and Krishna will become weakened, and then I can attack him also." So what he does is that he disguises himself as one of the young friends of Krishna, and Krishna and Balaram in this particular pastime, they're going to have a wrestling match between two teams. One group headed by Krishna, the other group headed by Balaram, and the prize is that whoever loses will carry the winners on their shoulder. So Lord Balaram's team, it wins. So now somebody has to carry Lord Balaram, and Pralambasura disguises himself as one of the friends, and he carries Lord Balaram and starts running away from this group. Then Lord Balaram understands that this is a demon, and he increases his weight so much that Pralambasura obviously eventually he gets killed, as we can see. Again, here the Pralambasura looks like a demon, but again the main demon is within us in Kali Yuga, all the anarthas that we have. So Pralambasura represent lust and also hypocrisy. Why it is hypocrisy? Because he is disguising, at least Denuclear, he was a demon and he was in the forest as a demon. He didn't disguise. But Pralambasura, he wanted to disguise as a friend to Krishna and Balaram. So that is also an hypocrisy. So these are all some of the anarthas that we see in the Kali Yuga, that kind of, we have to tackle with this on a daily basis. And then Krishna and Balaram, obviously, they go to Mathura after the Vrindavan, and they fight with the Kamsa, and they are so victorious. They kill Kamsa and all his demon friends. Now we come to the Kali Yuga, which we are more kind of accustomed, is Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they gave us the congregational chanting. Now, Acharyas have said, Hare Krishna. Acharyas have said that Krishna gave this rasa, the Krishna prema, to the Brajvasis. It was a kind of an exclusive club. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they gave it to everybody. It's like somebody, Krishna says, you have to take an exam and you have to get 80%, then I'll give you Krishna prema. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu say that you just take the exam, get even 40%. And our Srila Prabhupada say, you just take the exam. Don't worry about the percentile. I'll give you, back to Godhead. So here we see that the congregational chanting, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us how to render devotional service. And how Nityananda Prabhu, again, he appears before, but he's got only two major roles: to protect Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to engage in devotional service, and to preach everybody to be engaged in devotional services. And this congregational chanting, what is the congregational chanting? Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then, I don't know, I'm missing, for some reason I'm missing. Okay, door-to-door preaching. That's what we all do. Our Bhakti Viksha can be considered as a door-to-door preaching, when we do the Bhakti Viksha and the home satsangs and home programs, and book distribution also. So a nice pastime of Lord Nityananda, Lord Balarama, is the very notorious brothers Jagai and Madai. So Jagai and Madai were two notorious criminals. They have done almost all crime activities. And they were born in a Brahmin family, but all their activities were criminal. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakura, especially Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, their everyday activity was to go outside in the town and preach about Krishna. In Bengal, they used to say, Bolo Bhai, Bolo Krishna Naam, Bajao Krishna Naam. All the time, just go and say Krishna's name and glorifies Krishna's name. That was their preaching. So on this day, they happened to meet with Jagai and Madai, and Jagai and Madai are completely intoxicated. And the neighbors all say, please don't go near to them. They're completely drunk. And Nityananda Prabhu decides, if they're completely drunk and if they're the topmost criminal, they are my best candidate to become devotees. So he goes, he tells them to chant Krishna's names, to glorify Krishna. And after certain, arguments, Jagai and Madai, they hit with the alcohol pot on the head of Nityananda Prabhu. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to know about this, he's so furious. He's showing his form as Krishna and he's about to raise his Sudarshan Chakra and kill Jagai and Madai. But as this picture depicts, here Nityananda Prabhu is pleading with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to forgive them, to deliver them. He's saying that, oh, Lord, you came here just to deliver these fallen people. And then eventually, Jagai and Madai, they become devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, I also heard a story that when Srila Prabhupada was in New York, there was a Jack and Mac, two roommates of Srila Prabhupada who were almost about to kill Srila Prabhupada because they were also in a similar way intoxicated and engaged in all criminal activities. But the thing is that that is what a guru is. A guru transforms everything, all the negative things into positive and makes them devotees. And Lord Balarama is the supreme Adi Guru. So from him comes the attitude of servitude. Otherwise, we won't know how to serve Krishna, what is devotional service. So, with that, Vaishnavas, shall we take some thoughts and questions and answers? Any thoughts, Prabhuji? Triple Prabhu?
Yeah. Prabhuji, very nice class, lot of teaching points for me. So Prabhuji, just I want to reiterate and also clarify myself. Nityaṁ, Balaram, Lord Balaram is our Adi Guru, spiritual master. This is because for his servitorship nature, service nature, that's why we call him as Adi Guru.
Not only the service nature, how to serve, that's also important. Just serving is okay, but in devotional service, we should know how to serve. That's why Srila Prabhupada, when he established all these temples and other centers, he was very particular how the schedule works. Many of us would have seen, even in any ISKCON temple, everything is very nicely structured. Early morning, there is Mangala Arati, followed by Guru Puja, then Darshan Arati, then there is Bhāgavatam class, then there is, breakfast in the morning, then Raj Bhoga Arati, then outside preaching, then evening Gaura Arati, Sayana Arati. Like this, everything is very, how to do it. It's not only just doing something, but Lord Balarama tells Nityananda Prabhu, for example, he teaches us how to serve Krishna. Otherwise, we won't be in such a position, Prabhu. Today, we won't be reading about Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. How many of us would be reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? I don't know. Definitely, I would not be reading. Only with my association with my Guru Maharaj and senior devotees and with the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, whatever little I have understood or experienced, it's only because of devotee association and the structure that Srila Prabhupada has implemented. So Srila Prabhupada obviously is empowered by Lord Balarama so that he could tell us how to render this devotional service. Otherwise, today, Prabhu, there are thousands of temples, there are thousands of centers, they are also doing some service. But how to serve Krishna very nicely as devotees? Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. All this wonderful knowledge that Krishna has given can be understood only by a devotee. And how to become a good devotee is that is why Lord Balarama is the Adi Guru. And of course, the removing all the anarthas, that is also another.
Thank you, Prabhuji, very much. Hare Krishna.
Sudhir Prabhu, I can see Sudhir Prabhu's but anyhow, I think this evening will be glorified by Shubhavilas Prabhuji also, because we would like to hear some expert comments from him about Lord Balaram. Maybe we can read a verse from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, or we would like to hear from you.
Prabhuji, we are very, very blessed. This is nectar, and how you kind of explain in through the medium of slides and such in an easy way, so that we all can understand and appreciate the mercy of Lord Balaram. So thank you so much, Prabhu. This is very, very nice. Anyone wants any comments, thoughts, questions? It's a good opportunity. We have a few minutes. We can take that. Let's see first. Give a chance to everyone. Anything really struck you? Anything you really liked? Anything you want to reflect upon? This is a chance to share that. Vaishnavas, please.
Prabhuji, Dhamma Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Great slides and a lot of good pictures. I just wished Lord Balaram to give us strength to overcome the ignorance, like how he did the Denuclear, like squirrel in the air and throw it like that. I sincerely pray Lord to give us some strength to do that in our life and get better in Bhakti, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada always used to say, without seeking the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Lord Balarama, we really cannot progress, advance in spiritual path. It's not possible. We need to get their blessing. The anarthas have to be removed. I had one question though. Do we know how old is Lord Balaram eternally? Sudhir Prabhu knows, but he's always very humble. Prabhu, what is the age of Lord Balaram?
Prabhuji, 1 year older than.
No, I'm saying eternally, what is his age?
Adi. Anadi Adi.
Lord Balaram is 16 years old, eternally, because he's so youthful, his energy, his strength is like a 16-year-old person. Yes, Prabhuji, I know we have a time constraint. Please,
Thank
we would
you.
like to hear
Thank you,
from
Prabhu.
you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nice class, Prabhuji. And yes, it's very easy way, Prabhuji, you explain, and so that we can understand. I mean, people like me can understand. So Prabhuji, it struck me in one point when you told who is stronger, Krishna or Balaram. So Prabhuji, from that point we knew that Balaram, he's stronger than Krishna, but as you told that Balaram is leaning to Krishna's shoulder, so that's why Krishna is the stronger than Balaram. But I knew the other way around. So thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Any comments, Shubhavilas Prabhuji?
Thank you, Prabhu. Actually, it's such a beautiful coincidence that in our Chaitanya Caritāmṛta reading also, we are reading about Adilila chapter 5, which is the glories of Lord Nityananda. And there are so many verses which glorify Nityananda, Balaram. In one verse which was coming to my mind, that Ishwara Seva Vina Nahi Jane Aar. Ishwara Seva Vina Nahi Jane Aar. That means, does not know anything except to serve Lord. And I was meditating upon, after hearing a few classes from last few days about Balaram from different Vaishnavas, I was meditating upon two things. One thing is to beg to Lord Balaram to give us Bala, not the Bala to lift 100 pounds or 200 pounds, but the Bala or the spiritual strength. We can meditate upon this too. Oh Lord Balaram, please give me the strength to accept what is favorable for my bhakti, to fully accept, 100% accept what is good for my bhakti, what is favorable, what will help me to grow in my Krishna consciousness, and be eager and enthusiastic to follow that. But in the path of bhakti also, there are a lot of distractions also, especially in this day and age. So also saying no to those also needs a lot of strength, right? It's not easy to say no to distractions. So we also need the strength, the internal strength, the bala, to say no when provoking situations come, when the allurement of Maya comes, to say no, this is not good for my bhakti and I must not accept it. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. So I've been meditating upon that point. And the next point I want to share from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Sai Maharaj, as Prabhuji mentioned about Denuclear, the ass demon. I'm sure all of us have seen asses in India, like Khachar, Gadha. Gadha means dull-headed, right? Dull-headed, but they carry a lot of load. Have you seen? Anyone has seen in India? They carry like bricks or something like bags of sacks or some sort of like bag of some heavy. They carry a lot of heavy load. So this Denuclear represents like the ignorance. Ignorance, it's carrying such a heavy load, and also represents territory consciousness. कि मेरे इलाके में कैसे आ गए? ये Talwan is mine. The Talwan is my property. How dare someone else come and try to get the Tal fruits? So ignorance, when not knowing about our true self and working so hard in the material world, carrying this big burden. Everyone is carrying practically this big burden, so much material entanglement, so much material pressures, and forgetting about the real goal, that is Krishna consciousness, is the biggest ignorance, is the biggest burden. Ignorance about the holy name, ignorance about service to Vaishnavas, ignorance about the glories of the holy name, ignorance about anything which is, conducive is a big burden. So, and in Maharaj, actually one Mataji, I was learning from her that what's the difference between the demons killed by Balaram and the demons killed by Krishna? Is that the demons killed by Balaram, the jiva has to do one's own hard endeavor to fight over them. Of course, through the mercy of the Guru Parampara, but a jiva has to make hard endeavor to remove those burdens and to kill the ignorance through the medium of bhakti and spiritual knowledge. So we all can meditate upon Lord Balaram and beg for spiritual strength so that we can make steady and seamless progress in our bhakti, ahetuki and apratihata, ceaseless and causeless. Bhakti should be ceaseless and causeless and seamless and steady. And that can only happen when we have the mercy of Balaram. And that can only happen when we sincerely beg at his lotus feet. And especially today, he is very, very merciful. His karuna has no end. Apar ananta karuna. So we can all meditate upon Lord Balaram and beg for his mercy on this most holy appearance of Lord Balaram. Jai Hare Krishna. So yeah, we have a few more minutes. Anyone else wants to ask, tell, reflect anything, please? Okay, I guess I'll take silence as no. And yes, Sridama Prabhu wanted to say something. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, please.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderful Balaram Katha to you and Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I had one question. So when we say, Radharani and Krishna are also non-different, Ek Atma, right, Prabhuji. So even for Balaram also, we are saying non-different. It's Ek Atma, Prabhuji, or it's not like that?
Sridama Prabhu, since you're the main speaker, please.
Well, Prabhuji, as far as I understand, some of this intimate kind of feelings and emotion, it's very difficult for us to understand. So, Subala Prabhuji, would you like to guide a little more? Because even Srila Prabhupada would not discuss too much on Srimati Radharani and,
So I think this point came in the Nityaṁ discussion also. The point is, Balaramji is the first expansion, Vishnu Tattva, and Srimati Radharani is the Shakti Tattva. Shakti Tattva. So ultimately, Radharani is also Bhagavan, right? Radharani is also Bhagavan in the Shakti Tattva. And all these Shaktis like Lakshmi, Durga, all are coming from the feminine part, are coming from Srimati Radharani, gopis, etc., etc. And all the incarnations are coming from Balaram, who is the first expansion. Even the Paravyoma, the Bhu Paravyoma, referring to the spiritual world, referring to the paraphernalia, everything, the material world, are actually coming from Balaram only. But the Shakti Tattva, as I think Prabhuji's slide also, one of the slides, I noticed that, if you want to share that, Prabhuji, the one with blocks, like had that. So Radharani, actually in one way is mentioned, she comes from the left side, Balaram comes from the right side. So in one way they are same, Krishna, but they are the expansions to further enhance the rasa. Balaramji is also serving, Radharani is also serving, but in a different capacities.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry for sometimes I ask inappropriate questions. Sorry.
Okay, I just want to make a few announcements also. Tomorrow, His Grace Adigadar Prabhu is going to speak, same time, 8 p.m. The Zoom link will be different, but it will be shared. And then next day, which is Saturday, His Grace Shamananda Prabhu is going to speak at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, morning, Saturday morning. So please attend. He's going to speak on on setting the mood for Janmashtami, since we only have less than a week now left for Janmashtami, sorry, a week approximately. And then it will help us to prepare our consciousness rightly for Janmashtami. So we are very, very fortunate that we have these 3 days of nectarian Krishna Katha. And not to forget, Saturday, 12 p.m., Sridama Prabhu is going to post. We'll have the Janmashtami planning meeting also to prepare ourselves more. And there are a few things we need to discuss as a team. Okay, Sridama Prabhu, wanted to say anything?
Not really, Prabhuji. As you said, today, with the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, I repeatedly bring the name of Srila Prabhupada, because without his mercy, we would not be talking about, let alone glorifying Lord Balarama. In fact, I happened to talk to another person who is also very well learned. I happened to go to the temple this morning. So that person had no clue about Balaram Jayanti. He said that today is Poornima and Raksha Bandhan. They were familiar. But when I told that today is Balaram Jayanti, he said that really, because most people, they're not even aware of who is Lord Balaram and what is his position, and the Guru Tattva and the devotional service and so on. So again, this is a big, big blessing for all of us, all the ISKCON family, that we have this unique opportunity to understand and serve Krishna. And especially personally, I'm very grateful to ISKCON Tampa, so that we're getting so much opportunity for all the association, the programs, satsangs, and obviously the upcoming Krishna Janmashtami.
So we'll express our deepest gratitude to His Krishna, Śrī Caitanya for such wonderful Katha, and I don't know how Prabhuji put such amazing background also just right for the occasion. So creative, and his Kirtan, Katha, and creativity every way, serving, like I feel like how Balaramji is serving Krishna in every way. Sridama Prabhu is serving ISKCON Tampa and ISKCON community in every way, through Kirtan, through classes, through Bhakti Vrikshas, through book distribution, through Prasad distribution, through traveling, organizing, coordinating. I just feel like all the rasas he's serving in every aspect. So we are very, very grateful to you, Prabhuji. Let's express our deep gratitude by 3 times, loudly chanting.
Haribo! Haribo! Haribo!
Haribo.
Prabhu, you are not talking about me, right?
Only you.
Prabhuji, we are
Only you,
talking
Prabhuji.
about you as a Balaram.
It doesn't sound anywhere remotely like me, but that's okay. Haribol. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of ISKCON Tampa. They are so loving that they can enhance anybody. If a person like me can be enhanced, anybody can advance in spiritual path.
Haribol. Shri Balaram Poornima Mahāprabhu ki jai, Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavind ki jai, Shri Ram Prabhu ki jai, ISKCON Tampa Bhaktavind ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha, Patadana Bhavanebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.